What's up, everybody? We're on a podcast now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about Lollipop Chainsaw. And this was something that happened late last night, and it just got announced that there's going to be a new game to the franchise. So I think maybe a day or two before that, it was talked about how well, and this has been kind of building, that remaster just did insanely well for like what it was. I think it sold over 1.5 million sales. And may I just say, okay, we'll talk about some of the specifics. I know not everybody's pleased with them doing a sequel, and I get that, and I want to be respectful of that, and we'll talk about it. But I do just want to say, like, isn't it refreshing, putting that aside, isn't it refreshing that like a game can sell 1.5 million and it can literally bring back a brand? When's the last time that's ever, you know what I mean? I mean, like that can happen on smaller scales and like, you know, AA games, indie games, they would love if a game sold 1.5 million, right? But I mean, like when big AAA games come out and they sell 1.5 million, they get studios shut down. That gets games canceled. That gets sequels canceled. You know what I mean? Like if they have a plan to do, say, one or more than one, and then the first game sells 1.5 million, you'd say, well, that's pathetic. But really, you know what I mean? But for a game like this, 1.5 million literally revitalizes the brand. And that's, I think, the way to say it, because they're doing an anime, they're doing another game, and they might be even doing more than that. So this is quite literally brought Lollipop Chainsaw back from the dead. Yes, it's not the same. I think there's some people that worked on it that are still working, but not very many whatsoever. And obviously, Suda51 and James Gunn, they're not involved. They weren't involved with the remaster. They're not involved with the new game. So, you know, we'll talk about that in a second. But I do just want to say, like, I said that a few days ago. To me, no matter your opinion on it getting a new game, and I get it, I think we can all probably agree on, like, it is refreshing that 1.5 million sales can bring something back, because most times it doesn't. Most times it quite literally gets games canceled. Okay, so in terms of the new stuff, they announced there's a brand new game. They announced an English Twitter handle that is going to literally be providing updates. So they do confirm that Juliet's coming back and that, you know, brand new game in the franchise. They'll give updates on that Twitter. The one thing people are going to, depending on your opinion of this, I think opinions might vary. So they say, under the strong partnership with Nata Holdings and Dragami Games, development is already underway on a brand new Lollipop Chainsaw title that both preserves and builds upon the appeal of the original. With a firm commitment to honoring the spirit of the original work, the development team includes key staff members who were involved in the previous title. The new project is also being developed with a close attention to fan feedback. As with the original, the new title aims to recreate a world rich in dark humor. The development process will prioritize staying true to the distinctive tone and spirit of the original work without imposing excessive creative restrictions in the name of DEI. So it's really that ending there, right? And, you know, again, opinions are going to vary on it. For me, it's like it's not even make the game the way that you want to make the game. It's really, I'd say, to the first part of that. Like this game, it's got a tone, it's got a visual style, it's got its own thing. So I guess like make the game as the game deserves to be made, if that makes sense. And maybe that's like a cop-out answer. I really don't think it is. Like, and this is where it gets a little complicated, right? Because you don't have the original minds, so that immediately alienates people. And I do get that. The thing is, maybe this is just over-optimism, okay? But when I think about, and also like this game hasn't come out, so maybe this hurts my argument, but like Metal Gear, okay? Now we just saw it with Silent Hill. I think Silent Hill 2 is a good example, but like Metal Gear 3 without Kojima and Metal Gear without Kojima is a big deal. It's a big deal to many, and it's immediately a turnoff when they do something like this and he's not a part of it. Now, it's literally impossible. It's not going to happen. So I do understand people turning their backs and just being unwilling to budge, but the game is coming out, Metal Gear 3 Remake, and if you've watched interviews and just anything with that team, they are, in my opinion, insanely respectful of all of that stuff. They realize kind of almost how bad it looks, but they also like are going for it, and they talk about fan feedback, something very similar to what we just read here, right? They talk about the fans, they talk about, hey, judge us on this work, and hey, if you like it, we'll do more Metal Gear, but you know what? If you don't like it, message received. We're not going to do Metal Gear anymore. So it's like, I don't know. I feel that they are in the right headspace. And so, yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm talking about Metal Gear. I'm not talking about this. But, like, the lead of the remaster, he's on Twitter, like, quite often. And he seems like a pretty, and I think he was a part of the original team. He seems like a very respectful guy. He put out a tweet after this announcement and kind of echoed that stuff where it's like, it's about the fans, it's fan feedback, it's about preserving that vision. There's a difference between saying it and doing it. I do understand that. But that is, like, what else do you want them to do at this point, right? Because I've seen a lot of people being kind of angry at this, and it's like, as of right now, I feel like they're saying exactly what you would want them to say, and because, this is a world where people are sensitive. And I think that the visual style, even like Juliet herself, can definitely get nuked just because of these. I agree with that. And it's like, okay, well, that's almost step one, but it's like, well, they already said, that's hopefully, not going to happen. Now they say like excessive stuff. So I wonder, small tweaks and whatnot. Again, just keep it in line with the original vision. Like, replay that game. I know they just remastered it. I just played it. I got it very late. I bought it physically from Play Asia, I think, because I got like the Japanese version. Came like freaking 3 months after the game release. Was not happy with that, but I really enjoyed it. I think it's definitely rough around the edges. It's not a perfect game, but it still holds up in a lot of ways really well. We'll talk about it as we go forward, because I think I can come up with things that I would like improved and all that stuff. But it's got a tone. It's got the visual stuff. That's a big part of it. The visuals and the colors and stuff like that. That's a really big part. The tone of that kind of dark comedy and not being afraid to kind of go into places that a lot of games won't go. Those are the things you cannot dumb down, or nuke or whatever you want to say when it comes to the sequel. So as of now, I'm very excited. I get it. I definitely do. Like, I can understand the creatives not being there immediately makes people worried. But I want to believe that, like, you can still do it, and maybe you wouldn't do it necessarily as well, but you're not really given that opportunity. I guess where I'm at, and this is okay if you answer like differently than what I'm about to say. It's almost like continue it or not continue it. Like, where do you want to, and it's okay if you, like, I can respect that if you don't want to continue it because you kind of don't want to mess with a good thing. The thing, I don't know, where I'm at in my life, it's like, look, even if they severely F up a second game, you could ignore it. You could ignore the second game. Like, the second game doesn't have to exist to you. And ultimately, the franchise was quite literally dead a year ago. I mean, like, yeah, they were working on it and their remaster was going to come out. But let's say 3-4 years ago, this franchise was dead. It was not going anywhere. There's nothing on it, okay? So, like, we've been there. So, like, for the people that don't want a sequel, you could just ignore it because, like, the franchise, most of its life of the IP has not been around. And it wasn't even all that well received originally. It became a cult classic. It sold a little bit as time went on. It didn't even sell all that well. You know what I mean? So it's like, so I think they should be able to try it, give it a go. If it sucks, it sucks. And it's like, well, what's the worst that can happen? The franchise dies again? We've been there this whole time anyway. So to me, that's not that big of a deal. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.